The rain hadn't stopped since the funeral. 12-year-old Amara stood by her father's grave, clutching his old watch like it was the last piece of him she had left. Her stepmother's voice cut through the silence, cold, sharp. "Get in the car." But when Amara turned around, the car was already driving away. "Wait, please, don't leave me here," she screamed, chasing through the mud until her small feet gave out. The cemetery emptied, the sky darkened, and a little black girl was left alone, abandoned beside her father's name carved in stone. But what happened next would change not just her life, but everyone's who ever doubted her worth. Before we dive in, tell me in the comments, where are you watching from and what time is it right now? Before that day, Amara's world was small but bright. She lived in a modest house at the edge of town, peeling paint, a leaky roof, but filled with her father's laughter. He worked long hours at the post office, yet somehow always found time to tuck her in and say, "No matter what the world tells you, baby girl, you're enough." Her stepmother, Denise, was different, always polished, always distant. She called Amara that child more often than her name. When her father fell sick, Denise's smiles grew colder, her phone calls longer, and her patience shorter. At school, Amara was one of the few black students in her grade. Some days, kids would whisper behind her about her hair, her skin, her hand-me-down clothes. She tried to ignore them, remembering her father's voice. "Hold your head high, sunshine." But when he passed away, that light went out. Denise stopped pretending. The house became silent. No good mornings, no dinners, just footsteps echoing through empty rooms. One night, Amara overheard Denise talking on the phone. "She's not mine. I can't do this anymore." Amara froze, her heart racing. "Please," she whispered from the hallway, "I can help." "I'll be good." Denise didn't answer. The next morning, they drove to the cemetery. Denise wore black. Amara held flowers. By sunset, only one of them went home. That night, as Amara huddled beneath the cemetery tree, shivering in her torn dress, she didn't know that someone nearby, a poor old man, had seen everything. And he was about to make a choice that would change both of their lives forever. The night Amara was left at the cemetery, rain turned to mist, and the world went silent, except for her trembling breath. Then out of the darkness, a faint voice called out, "Hey there! Child, you okay?" It was Mr. Carter, a frail old man who lived in a shack near the edge of town. He was poor, almost invisible to the world, but his eyes held kindness. He gave Amara his coat and took her to his home, a creaking wooden cabin that smelled of old books and firewood. "Where's your family?" he asked softly. "They left," Amara whispered. He didn't ask more. He just nodded and said, "Then I guess you got me now." For the first time since her father's death, she didn't feel entirely alone. Mr. Carter worked odd jobs, fixing fences, sweeping church floors, anything that paid a few dollars. Amara began helping him, learning to mend, to cook, to read old poetry from the tattered books on his shelf. But outside their little world, the town wasn't kind. People whispered when they saw her walking beside him. "That's the orphan girl. Didn't her stepmother dump her? Why's he keeping her around?" One morning at the general store, the owner refused to let Amara buy groceries. "You got money?" he sneered. "Yes, sir." She held out a crumpled dollar. He smirked. "Not from you. Go on, get out." When Mr. Carter stepped in, the man spat, "You two make a fine pair, a broke old fool and a charity case." That night, Amara cried quietly on the porch. "Maybe they're right," she said. "Maybe I don't belong anywhere." Mr. Carter looked at her, his voice steady. "You belong wherever love lives, child. And love lives here." But as months passed, life grew harder. The landlord threatened eviction. Denise, her stepmother, filed a report claiming Amara ran away. The authorities showed up, accusing Mr. Carter of keeping a child illegally. "Sir, you can't just take her in like this," one officer said, his tone sharp. "She had nowhere else to go," Mr. Carter replied. "Her stepmother abandoned her," the officer scoffed. "We'll verify that. Until then, the girl comes with us." Amara clung to him. "Please don't let them take me." But they pulled her away, ignoring her screams. In the system, Amara was moved to a foster home on the other side of town, A place that looked nice on the outside, but inside she was treated like an inconvenience. She wasn't allowed to eat at the same table as the other kids. When she tried to join their games, they laughed. "Your hair looks like a bird's nest. Bet your daddy left 'cause you're trouble." She stopped speaking altogether. Weeks later, she found a letter slipped under her pillow. Shaky handwriting she recognized instantly. "Don't lose that light, sunshine. I'm still here. Mr. Carter." Her hands shook as she read it, tears falling onto the paper. He had walked miles to find her, just to remind her she wasn't forgotten. But soon after, she overheard the foster parents whispering, "That old man keeps showing up. Maybe it's time someone taught him a lesson." Her heart pounded. She didn't know what they meant, but deep down she felt it. Something terrible was coming. And when the police sirens echoed through the night the next day, Amara realized her worst fear was about to come true. The night was thick with rain again, the same kind that fell the day Amara was left at the grave. She was standing by her foster home's window when she saw flashing blue lights outside. 2 police cars, and beside them Mr. Carter, hands raised, soaked to the bone. "Sir, we told you not to come here again," one officer barked. "I just wanted to make sure she's safe," he pleaded, voice trembling. "You're trespassing." "Step back!" Amara rushed to the door, screaming, "He's not hurting anyone!" "Please, he's the only person who cares about me." But the foster mother yanked her back. "Stay out of this," she hissed. "He's trouble." One of the officers shoved Mr. Carter to the ground. He coughed, struggling to speak. "I took her in when no one else would." "You all left her to die." The officer's knee pressed against his back. "Enough lies." Amara couldn't take it anymore. She tore free, sprinted outside barefoot, mud splashing against her legs. "Stop, please, he didn't do anything," she cried, throwing herself between them. "Get back inside, young lady," the officer ordered, but she didn't move. "You said protect and serve," she shouted, her small body shaking. "Then why are you hurting the only good man I've ever known?" The crowd gathered, neighbors with phones recording, whispers spreading like wildfire. "That's the old man who took in that black girl. Should have known he'd get in trouble eventually." The foster mother came out, pretending concern. "Officers, she's confused. He's been stalking her." Amara turned to her, tears burning. "You're lying!" But the words didn't matter. The cuffs clicked. Mr. Carter's eyes met hers, tired, kind, full of quiet sorrow. "It's okay, sunshine," he whispered as they pulled him away. "Keep shining." The rain poured harder, drowning her screams as the car drove off. For the second time in her short life, Amara watched the only person who loved her disappear in handcuffs, not because he did wrong, but because no one wanted to believe a poor black man could be good. And in that moment, she made a silent promise. The world would hear what they tried to bury. Mr. Carter never came back. They said it was an unfortunate misunderstanding, that he had resisted arrest. But Amara knew the truth. No one ever listened when men like him spoke, and no one cared when little girls like her cried. Months passed before a kind social worker finally uncovered the truth about her stepmother's abandonment. The headlines read, "Child left at father's grave, foster system failed her." Cameras came, reporters asked questions, and people online were suddenly outraged. But where were they that night in the rain? Amara was placed with a new family, one that treated her with care. But a part of her remained back in that muddy cemetery and on that road where Mr. Carter's life was taken for nothing. Every year she visited his grave with the same worn-out watch her father gave her. She'd whisper, "You saved me twice, once from the world, and once from forgetting who I am." Years later, she stood on a stage at a community rally, now grown, her voice steady but filled with emotion. "I was that little girl," she said, "and the man they called a criminal was the only one who showed me love." The crowd fell silent. Some cried, others just stared, realizing how easily a single label, poor, black, unwanted, had destroyed a life and almost erased another. Amara didn't speak for pity. She spoke because silence is what lets injustice breathe. She ended her speech with the same words Mr. Carter once told her, "Love lives here, and it's stronger than hate." As she looked into the crowd, she asked, how many more fathers, brothers, or strangers like him will it take before love is louder than fear? If this story moved you, share it. Speak up. Because somewhere out there, another Amara is waiting for someone to care.